Hey everyone, so today we're on a little bit of a field trip. We're visiting my good friends Eller Exotics, who specialize in all sorts of different reptiles, but specifically a lot of different gecko species. And if any of you watching have fairly figured out by now that I do mostly the legless variety of reptiles, so I'm here to learn a whole bunch, and so this way we're going to share a little bit as I learn with you guys as well, and hopefully be able to answer a little bit more questions about, say, like leopard geckos that you almost never hear me talking about. So, without further ado, Becca, who do we have?
We have a Mandarin Tangerine. So you can tell that he is very, very orange per the usual tangerine type variety. He has some black speckling on his tail and he has lots of carrot tail.
Cool. So now when we talk about morphs, a lot of people know morphs like through ball pythons. So they think recessive and then incomplete or codominant. So what are the genetics behind the tangerine?
So most tangerines are actually just normals that have been bred specifically for their orange color.
Okay, so it's like a line bred specific thing.
It's very line bred. You can also mix tons of different tangerines to get different types of colors.
Okay, cool. So it's a tangerine or it's not, essentially, or...
Well, so normals back in the past were yellow and lots of spotting.
Yes.
You almost never see normals these days. Almost never.
Yep, that's definitely true. A lot of... Oh, yeah.
These guys are all essentially mutts. So you literally can learn about the morphs and then try and figure out how to produce what you're looking for.
Okay.
So a lot of people like the solid orange geckos.
Fair.
I like a lot of orange geckos with a lot of spotting personally. Those are my favorite types of tangerines.
I like those too. I know that a lot of people really like the clean, the patternless look, but I like busy pattern too.
I like a busy pattern too. I like also very stripy patterns.
Fair enough.
And here we have Ducky, who is actually a lavender jungle bandit. So you can see that she's more yellow in coloration, and she also has all that nice lavender on her. And the bandit part refers to the fact that she has a marking across her nose that goes from eye to eye.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So she's one of our sweet, sweet, sweet little girls that we breed almost every chance we get because she produces fantastic babies.
Nice. Is the bandit a genetic thing or is it?
It is.
Okay, cool.
So if you put her with a normal or tangerine or something like that, you actually get bolts instead of bandits.
Okay, yeah.
So, but then you can put those babies together as long as you're adding different genetics in, obviously. And then you can work towards getting the bandit again, such as when you look at fire bolts or fire bandits.
Okay.
So when you try and do the same type of morphology with a bandit.
That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about the leopard gecko morph, so really cool. And so the lavender refers to that kind of like pale purple color.
Yeah, the pale purple color on her. Yes, that's one. I love the lavender gene in geckos. Purple's my favorite color.
Fair enough.
All right, and last but not least is one of my favorite morphs, the Super Snow. So these guys are actually like a dominant type gene. Okay. The Super Snow, if you put with a normal, you get max nose.
Yep.
And then if you put two max nose together, you can get a super.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That's the max nose. I know a few of the different ones. Yeah. So cool.
So the cool thing about these guys is they have solid black eyes.
Crazy.
So, and this guy was one that I actually produced myself, and I cannot wait to put him into my projects.
Nice.
I love his stripes. I love how white he is. I love his little attitude that he has.
There he goes.
There we go. Neck scratches all around. Makes him super happy.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
So now, as you said before, that almost all of the leopard geckos are mutts, right?
Yes.
So describe kind of what that means.
So all leopard geckos essentially, originally they were all collected from Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and then they were all mixed together. So that's how you come up with the morphs.
Okay.
So I actually do have a couple pure species here to show off as well.
So now these ones are real, true, pure
100%.
These actual species, not necessarily just leopard gecko.
Yes, they are pure species. They are not. You I mean, I have never tried to breed with them with
But
leopard
why would you?
But why would I?
Fair, yeah, fair.
So, I want to keep them as pure as possible. This is an Afghanicus. So, as you guessed, they are from Afghanistan.
Fair enough.
This is not a leopard gecko, but
So that's
related.
that's definitely going to confuse people because it has a lot of that more classic pattern and coloration. So this is probably a lot of the
Afghanicus?
Thank you. I can't do Latin names. See, I don't do it. It's not just me too. It's not just the snakes. I always mess it up. So do you think this was probably a big part of like the founding stock?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it was definitely a part of the founding stock for the normal type leopard geckos that you see around. So this boy, he just is amazing in all sorts of ways. And the females are generally a little bit smaller, but I didn't want to mess with her today. She was a little cranky.
Fair enough.
So, but this is what you would consider the old patterning for a normal leopard gecko, but it's a pure species. And every single gecko likes its neck rubbed.
See, I would believe you, but tokays.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been brave enough to mess with the
Fair
tokays. Now, this is something you don't see every day.
No, not at all. And I would imagine that a lot of people are probably thinking this is like some sort of like German giant,
Yes.
which is, we're not going to talk about those guys. That's the whole thing. But like version of a leopard gecko.
Yes. So super giants are something that everybody looks for. But all the super giant genes more than likely came from these guys. This is E. Angermaniu, the Elam province.
So where exactly in the region of that kind of Central Asia that makes up all of the, like, I think, 7 different species in their genus are all kind of located?
These guys are actually from Iran.
Okay.
So, specifically. They are one of the bigger Angermaniu species because there are a lot of different Angermaniu provinces and not subspecies, but different localities.
Okay.
So they actually get the biggest. This guy, he's at least, 10 inches long?
At least. He is huge.
He is massive. And they're actually a lot more, their arms are actually longer compared to leopard gecko arms compared to the body. So they're very, very cool. Very, very different. They're a little more difficult to breed.
Okay, then. I was going to ask if there was any sort of, like, real difference with, like, their personality or anything versus the traditional leopard gecko.
They tend to be a little bit more flighty.
Okay.
We do have one female over there that every time you open her cage, she starts screaming. So this is a cave gecko.
Okay, cool. So now let's real quick, just for a quick little sidebar. So we mostly were talking about the more like Central Asian geckos,
Yes.
those terrestrial geckos, the leopard geckos.
Yes.
So now this is a species that is normally found much further east. Okay.
This is their scientific name is G. hyanus, but they are commonly referred to in the pet trade as the Chinese cave gecko.
So if someone was looking to get into this is probably the first one they would come across.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, most definitely. This is one of the most common ones in the pet trade for sure of cave geckos.
Okay.
So, and she has solid red eyes and yellow banding. And she's actually gravid right now, so she
Have to be very careful.
have to be very careful with her. She's very, very sweet in her own way. These guys are a little bit more brave than the rest, I will say.
Because I was going to say, I've only worked with, I believe, this species, and even then they're fairly skittish, even when compared to...
Yeah, and like if you set them up, they are most likely going to be out at night. They're not going to be one that you get to handle every single day. They're not like a leopard gecko. They're not nearly as tolerant of those types of interactions.
Right.
So here we have another cave gecko.
Maybe.
This is Gonosaurus ornatalis. So they have the nice black and orange coloration
as
he scrambles away, and the really deep red eyes.
So cool.
So, and these are actually from Japan.
Oh, cool.
So commonly they'd be referred to as the Japanese cave gecko.
Okay.
Occasionally, I always use scientific names because we have so many different species, it gets way too confusing.
That's definitely the thing about geckos that I notice is that as soon as you get past the kind of like the common pet animals, as you dive more into them, you can't really refer to them as just their common name anymore.
Yes.
You really do have to be specific with their Latin names to keep the individual species separate.
Thank goodness I took 3 years of Latin in high school. It's only helped me in this profession.
Fair enough. So these guys, they seem to be fairly skittish when compared to the other ones.
Yes,
and a little bit smaller.
They are definitely one of the smaller species.
Okay.
They hatch out about the size of my pinky.
Oh, jeez.
So it's absolutely adorable when they hatch out, but terrifying at the same time because they require a lot more specific care.
Right.
Versus others that hatch out about the same size of a leopard gecko. You know, I'm used to leopard geckos and making sure I have bugs for leopard geckos, but these guys, they pretty much could eat fruit flies if they wanted to as a baby.
I was gonna say either like the large Madagascarensis, I think, are the fruit flies. I'm so bad with this.
Yeah.
I know. I'm trying really hard. I'm showing it off. I'm showing off my ignorance a little bit.
Yeah. We usually, we also breed our own roaches, so we just literally find the teeniest of the tiniest little roaches for them. So, but, they're super cool. They are definitely a little more skittish than the rest of the species, I would say. Most of the small, but that's generally what happens when you go into smaller species, in my mind.
Fair.
Because they are essentially prey to everything.
Yep.
So, and they have not been in the pet trade pretty much at all, so it's really hard to find them, and so there's not that many people breeding them to even calm them down quite yet. But as you can tell, he calmed down pretty quickly.
Yep.
But this is not his favorite thing.
No.
I'm very sorry for that. But
we're almost done.
We're almost done. But that amazing coloration is what drew me to these guys for sure.
There's definitely I know the red eyes is a big attractant to a lot of people, but it's just the coloration of it is just really cool. But it's unfortunately another time when it's one of those animals where it's going to be like a really cool cage of dirt.
Yes. Yes. You may see them at night. This is Ganosaur catbaiensis.
So considerably larger.
Considerably larger, one of the largest cave gecko species. So, and these guys are actually from Vietnam.
Cool. So now these guys, as the name implies, they're found in very specific cave systems.
They are actually from an island called Cat Bai.
Oh, cool. That makes sense.
Yep. I love the slender legs. I love the patterning. I mean, that tail. Whew. But these guys don't actually have red eyes like a lot of the other cave geckos do, which is kind of neat. So
it's like a really cute little combination of like the hyenensis and like a leopard gecko.
Yes.
Did I get that name right this time?
Hyenas.
Okay.
It's a
one of these days.
It's a dead language. We can all take
I know.
some liberties.
I do my best.
But yeah, these guys are absolutely awesome and beautiful. You will pretty much never find them because they are an endangered species now.
No.
So unfortunately for them, they are endangered, and I love helping preserve their species by breeding them.
Fair enough. Oh yeah. There is something really cool about, at least in some small way, be able to contribute to something that we may not have otherwise down the road.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about him, because he literally, I don't think there's very few people working with this species, at least in the United States, unfortunately. They're such a cool species, but habitat destruction has really done a number. Yeah. So, hopefully, one day they will be thriving. Yeah. Look at you licking your nose. Look at you licking your nose. I love how calm he gets.
They're so cool.
Like, the bigger species just are more calm for sure.
Well, thank you so much for showing off those things, because they're just so cool. Like, I love learning more about all these different species of reptiles, and this is definitely one, and several species in general that we got to, show off today that I'm sure a lot of people didn't even realize even existed.
Probably not, but that's what it's all about. Education.
Absolutely. Cool. So if someone was interested in contacting you to learn more, possibly pick up animals from you along the line, where's the best place for them to reach out to you guys?
Eller Exotics, either on Facebook or Instagram or Gmail.
Okay. I will put links to that stuff at the bottom in the description of this video, like all of the other little fun visits that we do. And again, thank you so much for just giving I know that there's a lot that, time is very valuable. So I really do appreciate you, giving me a little bit of time and being able to talk about and show off these really, really cool and amazing animals.
Definitely. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, thank you. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got to learn a bunch of really cool new things. Heard me butcher Latin names for another 20 minutes as always. Hope everyone's having a great day. Stay tuned for more reptile content, and we'll check you next time.